Hello.
Hello.
Well,
Oh, you typed.
What's up? I did type.
But it's too quick. I wonder if they fix that.
Fixed
Like, I
what?
wonder if people can at you if you talk before they're here. It used to be that they can't at you if you haven't spoken since you, or if they haven't spoken since you've been in the chat.
I don't know. We'll find out. We'll ask Tim when he gets on. He's the one who likes to do it so much. We'll get him to do it. Yeah, but have you been here since the beginning of the stream route? Because if you're here while I say hello,
You would think it would let you at anybody that was in chat.
that makes a lot of sense.
But they try to make it private. Like, so if you're lurking, they don't want to have people be able to pull you out of lurk. Yeah. Right? Like, if you don't want to let people know you're in a channel and they can just at you, then that outs you. Right?
Yeah.
Twitch is so nutty like that. They're so... I don't know how to put it.
They like to support their lurkers.
I don't know. I don't know what the right term is for this. It's just they're
it's odd.
Nuts.
It's odd.
In the what they believe
for sure.
your rights are on Twitch.
Well, how's it going, Paint Liquor Route? Hope you guys are having a nice Wednesday. It's the official hump day today. Hump Day official.
Mitvoke. Trying out doing my edging in bright yellow green. I don't know if this is going to be acceptable. I feel like it works. It gives the green a more saturated feel, so I don't know if that's what I want,
highlighting?
Or if I want the
that looks cool.
The desaturated feel. Because I could go with faded green
instead. Would definitely give you a lot more desaturation. Nice. Arctic Mini Painting Studios, Mr. Maffin, how you guys doing today? The loaf done? That's an acronym I am not familiar with.
So there's something you need to know about chat. Is when they get a name in their heads, they won't let that name die.
Got it. Okay.
So when we name the dropship...
Oh, right. That is forever the name.
And you know, even though it's the Leodon, chat will think it's the loaf forever now. So it's up to us to remember, because chat won't let you forget, right?
Fear not, for I shall remember the Leodon.
Welcome to chat.
And it's designation LDN
whatever
dash 05 M8.
Yeah, I don't know what it's gonna be. We're just gonna make it up as we go.
Yeah.
LD
random designation acquired.
Dash rando nonsense. Go. Random BS go. some pale yellow and see. This pale yellow is the color that goes on the deserty part of this. See how we like it. The LOAF-ATE. No. You would do that LOAF-8. The number 8. Why would you do so many letters? The loaf number 8.
Punisher, how's it going? Lay it on loaf. Bonus alliteration. Doing good. I am doing good. Chilling here, working on cleanup on the Morgan. Airbrush layers kind of messed up some of the smooth transitions we did on the skin earlier. So that, which is my fault. So we're gonna fix it. Gotta take responsibility, you know? Mucking it up.
You can always blame chat.
Oh, I mean, just because I don't say that I'm blaming chat doesn't mean I don't actually.
You're internally blaming chat?
Oh, 100%.
All right, cool. Just make sure you always have that out.
Yeah, no. 100% just always blaming chat. They don't know it, which is their prerogative to not know.
Dinner's no good?
Dinner's
Chat.
no good. What do you mean dinner's no good?
No, if your dinner's no good, chat.
Oh, yeah. I had a delightful dinner. But, although, it took me a long time to make.
What'd you make?
I made some chicken and just. It's Baby J and some other guy. Walking harder. Don't do that. You've known this guy much longer than you've known me.
I'm already grumpy walking harder. Is this gonna be our day?
I wouldn't make.
Because see, there it is. Arctic Sight, because it annoys you and brings me the giggles. This is chat. This is how chat treats us.
Could always do a painting competition with chat. Us versus them. Let's assert dominance somehow.
They would cheat.
It would cheat.
Chat would cheat. I don't know how they'd cheat.
Know how they would do it?
They'd commission somebody. They would pull their collective knowledge together and commission somebody.
The trick is not giving them enough time. That requires time and effort. If we just say, hey, these things need to be
Tomorrow.
Then, you know.
All right, chat. Painting competition. You versus us. Homework due tomorrow. Paint 36 mechs. We win. Thanks for playing.
I think you win that one. I definitely lose that
Hey,
one.
I got you.
We get to pay Monument Baby J to paint our models. That's not how that works.
In a competition with him. He just randomly gets a commission request all of a sudden.
Hey, would you mind doing this for me? Like, wait a second. This looks awfully familiar.
Do I know you?
Yeah, I think I've seen this name before.
No, that's where they beat us, because it turns out their real name is not Arctic Mini Painting.
I mean, fooled me.
It's Bob.
Could have fooled me.
When Bob says, hey, I would like for you to commission a model for me, the unfortunate truth is that you're not going to know who it is.
So many Bobs in the world.
You just got random commission from Bob number 157643881. Definitely not Bob.
Definitely not Bob.
Jared. Try to guess Arctic Mini Painting's name. Jared. Steve.
Steve.
Frederick.
But it's Fred. But, you know, maybe
There's not enough Fredericks anymore. Three letters. Try again. Roy.
The answer really is Bob. Just messing with you. One letter's correct.
Ray. Oh no, that would have been two letters would have been correct.
Bob?
Tom. Because the O was correct. It's Tom. Tom.
Could be Ron.
Oh, it could be Ron. Ronald.
Ron. The Royal Ron. Well, that wasn't hard. Hey! Look at that.
Well, that wasn't near hard enough.
No, not Ron. What? Tom? Wait, who got it right? Definitely.
I think the bright yellow green holds up. Okay. Not too shabby.
Not too shabby. I apologize for not getting your name correct.
Go with that.
some extent.
To some extent. He apologizes, sort of.
Sort of. Sort of get an apology for that one.
The non-apology.
Yes.
It's like the, I'm sorry your feelings are hurt. Followed by, but that ain't got nothing to do with me. I expect it. You expect your feelings to get hurt around here? What? Impossible.
Sounds impossible to me. Who would ever do such a thing?
Two of the nicest painters in the history of painting right here.
Yep, so true.
Just ask us, we'll tell you.
Yep. Oh, 100%. Yeah, I'm really here just to support Jen.
To support Jen?
That's...
I really just come to support Jen. She needs it. She has to deal with us way more than you guys do. Although, she's had 3 days off.
That's got to be pretty sweet.
How does that work? Get 3 days off.
Truth!
Is she in chat?
Yep.
Rat bastages. Rat bastages.
Hey, I've been working. Well, I don't know.
Careful, Jordan. She writes the paychecks. Be very select your words very carefully from
I think
from
I
here out, Jordan.
100% with you, Jen.
That's what he meant.
Huh? Yeah.
Nice recovery.
Wait, are you in the office now?
Nice recovery. Golf clap.
Good old golf clap.
No, she means she's in chat.
Oh, yeah. I'm here now, and that's definitely... Yeah. Gotta police the chat, make sure that us hooligans aren't doing anything dumb. Which I suppose is probably fairly difficult.
So, how lost can a cause get before you just have to recognize it publicly? If you're in this chat with us trying to prevent people from doing something dumb,
lost already.
Yeah, I feel like maybe you ought to rethink things.
No, Jen's just here watching this.
I don't know that I put my money on anybody trying to keep us from doing stupid stuff. I mean, I've got mechs that are pretty much done, and I'm going back and doing more to them.
How many times have I repainted the skin?
Too many.
A lot of times.
Too many. But you did the same thing with Horus, so I'm learning a lot about you.
Yeah.
You're hard to satisfy. You don't feel satisfied easily, I think is the way to put that.
No.
Which is not a bad thing.
Very critical of my work. I don't settle for something like I've done better.
Baby J is known for not resting on his laurels.
Don't do that. Down a bit in here.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah. You have acclimated to the heat.
That's probably the more likely solution than it somehow got cooler.
Adding another person and keeping.
Well, it might be because the door's closed now.
Oh, that could be. Now that it's actually circulating the air.
Yeah. We're not losing it out to that hallway area.
Tsunami Dickus. What colors are you using on the robes for the lady? The robes are a mixture of dark blue, dark magenta, mixed with some amount of red gray for the highlights, and then glazes of dark blue in the shadows. And it's really dark. The gray is like pretty subtle. And then I add a little bit of khaki to it up towards where the light is. Add a little bit of warmth to it. Which is funny because this palette is cold as pretty much can be.
Well, that's not true. It has warm color in it.
It does have warm color in it, but it is pretty cold.
You could have been really mean to him. You could have given him no magenta.
Yeah, no magenta, no khaki.
Yep.
Complete ice cold. Let's see. Bring it.
Thinking about doing a color similar to that on some Marines you got going on. Very cool. That is part of our April challenge. If you're not familiar, if you're new here, we have a Discord server, and that Discord server has got thousands of awesome artists just like you guys. And every month we do a different challenge that hits you up against our crazy ideas and lets you go wild. And this is a limited palette challenge where you only get to paint with the 5 colors that Jordan is using on that entire model.
Yep. Which are the dark magenta that I was just talking about, the dark blue, these 2 colors. We have khaki. We have red gray. And then we have white blue. The only 5 colors that I can use on this model.
There wasn't a magenta originally. Did I force him to do that? I feel like I forced him to do that, right?
Maybe? I don't remember.
I feel like I said you gotta have at least something warm in there. Like at least one color. Or they're gonna run and revolt. They're gonna chase us with pitchforks, Jordan.
I still hold to my original plan. Yeah, it wasn't limited until magenta was added. And then I said, "The heck with you guys. You get the limited palette challenge instead."
I love me some catapult. Why don't we just take all catapults?
Been really enjoying these paints since I picked them up a little over a year ago. Really great work. Awesome. I'm glad that you've been enjoying them. They are really amazing paints.
Great to hear. A couple emails and notifications today to that effect. We love that story, obviously.
I do too. Yeah.
Glad you're loving them.
Means we've been doing our job good. Making a product that y'all love.
Just like no paint on this brush.
Ooh, man, those things are really popping now. The mech looks great.
Coming together. Little bit by little bit. Yeah, really, really enjoying them since we did the green. I already liked them a lot. But I feel like mechs don't really come alive until you find that accent color. So being able to give them a little bit more personality is always a good thing. Catapult, we got to figure out the tips of the missiles. Probably just red, right?
Star73, happy Wednesday. Hope you are enjoying it so far.
Arctic, that's awesome.
Recorded some cool stuff today. Kind of neat.
Exactly, walking harder. Bright yellow green. Well, I'm highlighting the green with bright yellow green. So that's not a color I'm going to use on other details, right? The locust we did as a test. I'm doing the bright yellow green on the green parts. That does what I want the green to be, which, I mean, it makes it a little bit more vibrant, a little less desaturated military green, but I'm okay with that.
Can missiles be anything but red?
I don't think so. I think there's a rule. Right?
Missile tips have to be red?
Missile tips have to be red.
You white, you blue.
No,
but,
neither one of those work here.
Red is definitely the traditional one.
Well, neither one of those work. White and blue don't work because I got white and blue as the backdrop for the steel, right? That would be very samey. I think we got to do red. Let's do red. I haven't finished.
Decision made.
Red. Eclectic salmon, pink tips. Wait a second. What kind of show do you think this is? What kind of movie you think we're making here?
One about eclectic salmon. Possibly. So basic. Nothing basic about anything happening here. Nothing. Longer73 asks, question, when it comes to color schemes for an army, is there a way to switch up the scheme but still maintain the army cohesion?
Sure.
Definitely.
When you say switch up the scheme, like, you know, from unit to unit kind of a thing? Definitely. Think about it in terms of, well, the way that I usually attack is I start thinking about it in terms of, okay, so let's say this particular squad uses the colors this way. This squad uses them this way. You know? It's what I've done on these guys, because the green is just in rando places across all the models, pretty much. Right? So that's one way of looking at it. You could also just take the colors and flip-flop them. You know, this army has the base is all the... I dread to call it desert yellow because it has a lot of green to it, but, you know, this kind of ochre camo that I've created as the main body color. But you could swap that up. You could have some of the models be the green color with the ochre stripe. Red was the correct choice.
Good old missiles.
15 per side.
A lot.
Yeah.
That's a lot of missiles, Jason.
Mo, what's going on?
What's going on, Mo?
Yeah, this guy's got
Hope you're having a
two
good Wednesday.
LRM-15s, 4 medium lasers. It's basically just a... I don't know if it's actually more expensive than the Trebuchet or not. They may be the same price. It's basically just the Trebuchet in a different form factor. Or vice versa, whichever way you want to look at it. The catapult was probably... I don't know if that's true, though. I think during the Star League era, the Trebuchet and the catapult might be very similar in age. It's an interesting one.
I think that is...
No filthy clan mech cooler.
Whoa, hold on now. Them's be fighting words.
Doing your Timberwolf and Mad Dogs.
Good mechs.
Jason's just jelly. I got 3 clan force packs sitting on my desk.
Oh yeah, he ain't jelly or nothing.
He's walking hard and says, "You're just putting words together and claiming the real thing now." Hey, that's my line. You can't steal that. I feel like there's other ways we could use red, but nobody else really has exposed missile heads. Like the Archer, they're all launched. There's no protruding missiles.
Sculpt them in.
I don't think anybody else has them. Maybe in the the Atlas that I'm not even going to use, probably. Probably not even using this guy, but here we go.
That guy.
This is like playing Operation right here. The missiles on him are all recessed into the SRM. Oh, down there too for the LRM. Somebody explain to me how this thing on the hip is an LRM-20, by the way. I would like to know. Inquiring minds would like to know that this is an LRM-20. Where are the other missiles? Anyone? Anyone? I'll wait.
The one on his hip?
Yeah. Where's the ammo? In his leg? Battletech's always a little strange that way. Where in the world does the ammo come from? How does it get where it's going? That anybody else has. Oh, did he? No. Again, those are all recessed. Just or non-existent. The Banshee again. SRMs probably won't use this mech.
How many mechs are you replacing with the stuff that you just got?
Not this. Well, I didn't get. I got the clan stuff. Right.
Oh,
I needed a few
okay.
clan mechs to get my clan star the way I want it. But those aren't gonna get out and painted anytime soon because I don't care about them. But I think as of now I'm replacing 3 minimum, maybe 4. Haven't really figured all that out. I need to give it a good long hard think. Because I think I'm going to remove a bunch of the assault mech. Not all. I'm going to keep this guy, the Battle Master, the Awesome, and all jacked up in the mold right there. It's not going to work real well. I think the Battle Master, the Awesome, and the Zeus. 3 of my favorite assault mechs of all time. So, keeps me happy in that regard. But not abusive on the battlefield. Like the 100-tonners and the 90-tonners. Although the Highlander's not horrible. The Banshee and the Atlas, though, are pretty horrible to have to play against. The Mauler is your favorite Intersphere Assault? Because you just like all the LRMs? He does not have recessed missile heads in the SRM on that one. Oh, you like the nipple autocannons or the waist autocannons on it? But the Mauler is all missiles, man. The big ass missile launchers on his shoulders. An oversized hunchback. I just don't like the way it looks, but it is a good mech. Same way like the Hatamoto Chi is a good mech, but I can't stand the way it looks. It's already hard for me sometimes to get with the overly humanoid look of some of the mechs. And then when they make it look like a big samurai or something, it's just like, well, that's just comical. And some of the old designs became that way. You could tell they were artists that really didn't feel comfortable creating non-humanoid things.
Yeah, being able to draw machine stuff
It's totally different.
is a totally different art style and a totally different thing to learn.
It is totally different, right? Because if you are like I grew up really with my focus on organics, human anatomy,
Yeah.
things like that. And one of the hardest things for me to learn was doing hard surface stuff. Like, they would say, hey, okay, I need you to draw a helicopter in this scene. I'd be like,
I know how to make a fleshy helicopter.
so you gotta kind of go back to the drawing board. No pun intended. Figure it out. But yeah, some of the hardest stuff is equipment, vehicles. Non-humanoid robots, things like that. And then there's people that it just clicks for them and they turn out these amazing mechanical designs.
Yeah. That stuff is really cool to see when somebody.
But yeah, and when you get into 3D sculpting, same problems occur.
Yep.
Right? Like hard surface 3D sculpting is something that's not easy for a lot of people. Way out of proportion with the robot anime? How do you mean?
I think Walking Hard is talking about how in some of the 70s robot anime, they have really bad proportions. No, I feel like 70s design, depending on what you're talking about, is pretty good.
It's crazy because some of the best BattleTech designs are the ones that came out of like this guy right here out of Macross, right?
Yeah, and Macross is 70s, right?
Those designs were the best of the sort of humanoid, but not quite.
Yeah, they're like hybrid-y.
The rifleman, the archer, the marauder, right? Then the Dougram stuff was a little bit more humanoid. The Griffin, the Wolverine.
I definitely prefer the non-humanoid stuff.
Yeah.
In that range.
Mazinger was like the precursor to like the Voltron stuff, though, right?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Mr. Wad Tomato N. Hello. Welcome to the robot chat. Where chat will robot you in conversation.
What?
Or something.
What?
Yeah.
Just go with it?
Yeah.
All right. The rifleman, the personal oven. Yeah, like, geez, let's give us all these cool guns and 10 heat sinks.
That feeling when you just lay in two perfect eyes. Oh, I just need to take a moment, absorb that feeling. Doesn't happen very often. It just happened today. Whoa!
Feeling good over there, Chad.
Hey, you know what? Sometimes you paint some eyes really paint you. And some other times, you just slap some paint on some eyes and they're perfect.
I want to go back to this eyes paint you thing.
Work it. Oh, work it. Oh, oh. Arctic made paint too. That stuff is way dry already. We live in Arizona. That stuff was dry the minute it left my paintbrush. Quad tomato. How long do Battletech games normally take? Felt like we did a lot of shooting, but nothing really did any dying.
Yeah, it depends, right? Because depending on the weight that you take, like a lot of people like to play lots of big stuff. And, you know, I said it on stream the other day with Battletech, each one of your mechs can literally feel like an entire army in other games. Mm-hmm. So, you know, if you take, that's why I'm talking about taking a lot of the assault mechs out of mine, because a 100-ton Atlas, right, or a Night Star that has even more armor than a 100-ton Atlas. I think that Atlas got like 19 tons of armor, so it's like 300 pips you have to do in armor, right?
A lot of attacks.
And so like 100 tons to do, you know, 300 pips of damage plus all the structural damage you got to do to it to knock it out is nigh impossible. So those games can drag on. So that's why, just like other games like 40K and such, you play scenarios that have a, you know, turn 6 limit or a 8-turn, 10-turn limit. Turns can go pretty quick in Battletech, as you probably experienced, right? Because there's a lot of mechs that don't have a whole lot of guns. So you move, you declare your shots, you shoot, and a lot of your mechs go fairly quickly. And especially if you're on bad numbers to hit, because you're missing a lot. So the time involved in Battletech comes when you hit with your weapons, and then you randomize your hit location, you mark your damage, you roll for any crits, you do all the associated accounting for what happens in damage in this game, because it's not just, okay, you lose 5 hit points, right? Alpha Strike is, but if you're playing classic Battletech, then it takes longer to do all of that stuff. But yeah, I mean, it literally is, you know, kind of a how long is a piece of string. We had a 1v1 game where I was teaching one of the local guys some Battletech on Friday night, and it was a Thunderbolt and a Penetrator, and both of which are fairly heavily armored. He was I let him have the Penetrator, so that sounds funny to say out loud. So the Penetrator has a better weapon loadout, right? And so he got the better of me damage-wise eventually. But, I mean, we didn't have any objectives, so we were just smack each other around. So it was really just showing you the mechanics of the game. So in that case, yeah, you're going to do a lot of damage. You're probably not going to feel like you're winning any ground. Start playing scenarios, and all of a sudden the game changes 100%. Like, there is no good reason to play Battletech where you just set up the mechs, unless you're in that learning situation where you want to teach somebody the game. Then there's a reason to sit there and do, okay, I'm just going to play 2 mechs versus 2 mechs, or even Lance on Lance as they grow into it so they can get used to maneuvering more mechs around. You'll never reach the end of that game if the object is to kill the opponent, right? Now, that is technically a scenario, but it's not a fun one. You know, pick a hold the point, or pick a scan the data, right? And put some hexes on the map that a mech has to stand within 2 hexes of for 2 turns to scan the data out of it, and then make it off the board edge. And if one of your mechs is able to do that and make it off the board edge, then you win. And so those games can now go very quickly. They're very competitive. They make it a very like heart racing deal, because your opponent is like, if you get your mech onto the data point and start extracting first, they have to now kill your mech. So they turn all the guns on that one mech. So now you have to put a mech out there that'll last. You can't like stand a light mech in one place and hope for it to live, right? With 4 mechs challenge on it. So all of a sudden the strategy like deepens by 400% on what mech you throw out there. Do you bait your opponent? Things like that. So the scenarios can be really, really cool in this one. And on good and or bad rolls can be very quick. Like games where it is something like, scan the data, get off the board edge, can happen in 5 turns and can be an hour and a half, hour long, if all your rolls go wrong and you miss this mech and the mech's fast. Because you can put, like, assume it's the center of the board. There's like an HPG grid, satellite dish in the middle of the board. If I have a 9-14 mover and you don't, right, I can be at the center of the board in 2 turns, right? You can't even shoot me by then. And then I'm off on turn 4. If I can survive, then you'll lose the game in another 2 turns, right? So it could literally be turn 1, turn 2, I'm there scanning. Turn 3, I scan the rest. Turn 4, I'm 14 hexes away. And turn 5, I'm off the board, right? And so it can be that quick. But that would be a case where you didn't have a loadout compatible with this scenario. And the way that the game is played a lot of times is more like... when you get into scenario play, you start looking at it as, hey, I'm in my ship, and, so let's take my mercenaries, right? So my mercenaries would be floating around in space looking for contracts. This scenario comes up as a contract, and we say, yeah, we'll take this contract to go down and scan data from this HPG grid, right? And get it back off the planet for you, sir. And then you would determine what mechs you take based on the scenario. If you're just playing casually, a lot of times you just show up with 4 mechs or some mechs and you put them on the table and you play against somebody else on the table. And if you do scenarios in that situation, you can wind up where you didn't bring the right mechs for the scenario, right? You could wind up in a behind enemy lines scenario where you have to escape off your opponent's board edge and you brought all heavy and assault mechs that all move like max 6 hexes and you're going to get your butt whooped, assuming he has mechs with good guns. You're never going to make it across the whole board before you die because you just didn't have the right loadout. So that kind of stuff really comes into play, but it is a very thought-provoking game. It's a game where it's not harder to play casually like that to pick up games. Like you can walk in 40K and take your army, the same army you always take and not really think about it, sit down and say, hey, you want to get a game of 40K? And your opponent can say, yeah, and you can roll for the scenario, and both of you feel like, sometimes the scenario sucks for particular armies, but it was going to suck for you no matter what because that's your army, right? You're not going to change your army up very often. Whereas in Battletech, it can be a big differentiator.
How's it going, Jess? Just in from work making a cup of hot white tea. A couple more hours in on this darn commission. How goes it here? It's going well.
Fantastic. Humpday. Closing in on the weekend already.
Although, I will say, just alerted something to my attention we should be doing somewhat regular basis.
Making hot tea?
Hot something else.
Chocolate?
Yes, sir.
I have it every morning. I don't know what you're doing.
Oh, you actually make it every morning?
Every morning.
Oh.
Right when I walk in. I'm not fooling around.
How long do you stick it in the microwave for?
I said 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Any longer and it boils over. Okay. I've tried it and dialed it in on both of the microwaves in the building. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. If you go 220, that one over there on that side of the building sometimes is okay.
This one is not, though?
This one is not.
Okay, you go that.
You might be able to go 211, 212. I just went in increments of 5 seconds. But
sure.
At 210, it's not super hot, It's the nice, cozy, hot chocolate feeling, but it's almost on the not warm enough because it gets cooler quicker.
Got it.
So you can't sit around with it a lot because we don't have the tops.
Yeah, you just gotta.
But 2 minutes, 10 seconds. If you let it sit for a little bit, then you can hit it for another 20 seconds and it won't blow over. But I feel like it's the same temperature. I used to do it for 3 minutes, and I don't know what happened. 3 minutes was fine, and then one day, on both of them. Because I was like, oh, the microwave's going bad. I took it over there and did it for 3 minutes and did it over the same way. So I'm thinking it's the dairy. It's like something in the milk.
Could be.
Right?
Just start
it just froths up and boils over the top of the cup. It makes that awful burned milk smell. Right? So it's bad. You can still drink it, but it's a bitch to clean up. Wad, you had a Battle Master, a Wolverine, and 2 Locusts, and he had a Thunderbolt, Catapult, and a Medium. and you're just doing smooshing. Yeah, that'd take. I mean, in order to get through that, you're probably 3 hours of playing to start to where the other guy just doesn't have enough mechs to do anything with anymore. I mean, we just did 1v1, and all we did was, I mean, for a lot of the game, I just stand still and shoot. As soon as I get into combat range, I'm like, I don't move. I alpha strike, and I just sit there and soak up the damage with my Thunderbolt when I'm teaching people the game, so that they get the feel of how to move around, jump jet, get behind you, things like that. So I'll typically just march my mech to the middle and stand still and shoot them while they move around and do crazy stuff to me. And that's what I did that game. And we still, I mean, he got to the point where I was dead pretty much. Like, I think it was one more round of combat. He had got me down to where he was rolling crits on my CT now and things like that. So it would have gone by pretty quick. And that was probably an hour and a half, 1v1. But I was also teaching, so. Yeah, and when you're slow playing the game and looking at the rules and you don't know the where the table is for the lookup on cluster munitions and all the tables you have to have.
Takes a long time.
But if you get those and laminate them, go to Kinko's or FedEx or whatever and make copies or print them out, because all of it's available as PDFs, print them out and have those loose sheets around, those cheat sheets, then you're golden, right? The main Total Warfare book has all of them in the back. So you just go to the appendix and it's got 50 pages of all the tables you need. The more advanced, it has a bunch of stuff you'll never use. There's like the first couple of pages have everything you need for mechs. Hit location table, cluster munitions table, crit roll table, all that's in there. And that way you just have the tables there in front of you. It goes very fast at that point. Mo, you're placing an order for what? Songer, any recommendations for a company that will do a 3D print? You'll have some STLs that you would like printed off, but you don't have time to dive into resin 3D printing. Are the STLs things that you've made or things that you've bought? Because there is a legal issue that will keep most people from printing out, other than your friends, the things that you have paid for. Yeah. So when you bought those, it says in the terms and conditions that you cannot have anyone else print them for you. They are only for your personal use. Yeah. So you need a friend. You know, because most of the people you go and pay for it, I mean, and I'm just saying this, you can look around and see, right? But obviously you've given a file they can copy, and they can then have it for free and print it a lot. So that's why people say that. But that's all a more of a you thing and the printer thing than anything else. The cardboard table sheets that came with the main starter and the clan invasion starter wad. I feel like that didn't have the crit thing on there. And I feel like the cluster munitions table only goes up to 15. Or maybe even 10. Right?
So like an introductory table,
yeah.
Basically? Just like
if you have an LRM 20, you can't
go up to this level, so you only need that.
If you have an LRM 15 or 20, you can't use it because it only goes up to 10. That may be the starter, like the beginner box one. I don't remember. The starter. There's a beginner box, starter box, Alpha Strike, Clan Invasion. So there's a lot of boxes. So I don't know which one it is. But yeah, I'm sure you could find somebody that could print it out for you. Usually, and I would say this to you, if you're looking to buy STLs, usually you can go on Etsy and find somebody that has a commercial license for that STL, yes. And don't worry about buying the STL, just get them to print it for you straight away. Yeah. That's what I do. So it may be more worth it for you to just go to Etsy still, even though you own the STL, because depending on how big it is, you know, like getting Battlemechs printed on Etsy is like $8. Plus shipping. I can get any battle mech I want printed for $8 on Etsy. So I just do that. Rather than, we have 3D printers, but the STL is going to be $5. And then I'm going to go print it. And it's going to be a lot cheaper to just have the guy or girl on Etsy print it for me. I won't ever own the STL, but that's okay. I don't care. I don't care.
Probably never going to need multiples anyways, so it doesn't really benefit you.
If I do, I know who to order it from, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Go right back to Etsy and order another one.
The way I look at it is my time is worth the difference in costs.
That is exactly the case with me. I'm like, my time is worth more with me not doing this nonsense than doing this nonsense.
Yeah.
I will pay somebody to do it. But, then there are times where I'm like, hey, I really want to 3D print this thing. And so we'll do that. We're printing out a bunch of the terrain for Battletech here at the shop.
Oh, that's going to be fun.
So we bought the STLs for a bunch of really cool hex grid stuff. We got the table mats the other day. So we
you
have
got the new ones in?
Big 4x4 gridded mats now.
Nice.
Which are huge, like too huge to really play Battletech on, because you talk about taking a lot of time. Play Battletech on a 4x4 map with 2 players. Your first 10 turns are spent walking. Walking to the war. So you usually want to bring your deployment zone quite a ways in on the board at that point. You, the end user, having someone else print a file for your own personal use shouldn't violate that agreement. It does, Punisher, because the agreement is with the purchaser. It states that it is for your sole use. You have to purchase and print the model yourself. So it definitely is. From a legal standpoint, there's no gray area at all. A sculptor, by virtue of the way most of those things are written, does not have the right to print that for you, because it's your property to print. You can't give it to somebody to print. They didn't buy it. It came from a third party. So I asked him if he made it. Totally different if you sculpted it yourself, obviously. Anybody can print your own stuff. But when you bought that STL, you signed an agreement, basically, that stated that you would print it and that you would not give it to anybody else. Like I said, if you got friends that have printers and things like that, and I'm not the authority, I'm just telling you. I don't care what you do. I would hope that you would not rob IP from somebody, but there's so many 3D sculptors out there that have already robbed the IP they're selling you anyway.
Well, that's the other thing too, is like, does this person who I am purchasing sculpt from, or this printed model from, actually own a commercial license for it? And that's another question.
Yeah. Well, a lot of them don't, right? I mean, and you get into that, like I do the True Scale Heresy stuff, and that's very not even really gray area, That's Space Marines. That's
oh yeah, 100%.
Non-licensed IP. Name it whatever you want, but that's a internal struggle that I deal with. Yeah, we're at that bleeding edge with 3D printing. But boy, the sculpt really got rough right there. With legality and rights protection and all that stuff. So it's a tough one.
Complicated. It's
very great stuff either way you slice it for consumers, regardless of how it pans out. It's just that, it's the Wild West right now. And I think we're unfortunately getting used to it being one way because of how it is being right now. And the rug's gonna get pulled here pretty quick. As soon as, these companies that are doing all of the legal precedent work on it. I would be surprised if right now there were not big lawsuits being worked on by legal teams that just haven't been brought to the forefront yet. They haven't been filed, served, and all that stuff yet. They're probably still dotting the I's and crossing the T's on everything that they have to get right in their court before they do it. But I'd be surprised if somebody a la G-Dubs and big companies like that weren't already pursuing bigger things. Because it's a deal where once they do, they kind of have to have it figured out. And you have to pursue everybody, right? You have to have a way to, like, blanket go after everybody that's doing the same thing. And moving my light to left shoulders, so I get a little bit of contrast on all these guys since we've been painting them so fast, but they don't have to look unbalanced. They already did all that. Are we going to paint terrain on stream? I wasn't planning on it. Is that something you'd want to see one of us do?
Fun.
We haven't done a lot of terrain. We haven't done terrain a long time on the stream. Closest thing was Illumineth Realm Lord's big faction terrain piece. Yes.
Oh, did you paint that on stream?
Yeah. Well, it was part of my 2,000 points. Shrine Luminor or whatever it's called. Had to paint that. Waterfall and...
That's me when I painted the well. Privateer. Boros.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, oh, we did paint the a lot of the Well of Ouroboros on stream once. That's been years ago, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
That's a fun model. I like that one.
I did, too.
That's a much better version of the Shrine Luminor that GW ripped straight from Privateer. Like, the Shrine Luminor is literally...
It is exactly
the Well of Ouroboros.
Yeah. It's got a little bit more, like, structure to it.
Yeah.
If I recall, but it's still, like... One of these things is definitely like the other.
Yeah, when GW did that, I was like, wow, that's a blatant rip.
He doesn't care. They're like, we're big.
Come at me, bro.
Yeah. Just try and stop us.
Do the minions actually read the messages you add to the orders? Generally speaking, yes. In most cases, they do. Jen and the team will post up fun messages in our internal messaging system during the day. There's a fulfillment team messaging system, and they will definitely post up in there if they got something that was really cool. Sometimes people will send messages in on their order like, oh my god, thank you so much, changed my life with your paints, that kind of stuff, and they'll put that in there. Sometimes when you guys say funny stuff about an individual in the company, myself or whomever, that'll get posted in there.
You guys saying weird things about me?
Yes. There's lots of them that you send in. If you send in something about Jordan, we don't tell him about it, though. So let's just be clear. Now that you've called the minions, I can only envision the entire office in yellow jumpsuits. Back to the jumpsuit thing.
Well, one of them's got a red one.
Yeah, Shelby has a red jumpsuit that she will wear when she's doing paint production. From time to time. Not always. But from time to time, she will wear her red jumpsuit. Phil says when she's got her jumpsuit on, she's really cocky. Like it changes her whole attitude. It's like the perfect Halloween costume. Dress up like Michael Myers, become Michael Myers. You're gonna start you should start the message, dear minions.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that, Mo. Send it.
You should print the ones about Baby J in large type and place them on his paint desk. Deadbeat said, I wrote one that said some crazy guy on the internet told me to order these. And Jen replied to it saying something to the effect of, sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry.
Yeah. Arctic just did the loaf. The loaf is a game piece, though, right?
The loaf? You just called it the loaf. You're not supposed to do that.
It's the Leodon LDN 452.
We gotta set a designation for this.
So it is also usable as a terrain piece once it lands, but this would be a sizable terrain piece in BattleTech, because this is level 3 and probably a tremendous amount of armor if it's a destructible thing. But this would be a great scenario. Put it in the middle, right? Mm-hmm. Get in and make it to where you have to scan the data, grab the black box, do whatever you got to do from this crash site. But in order to do so, you got to stick a mech next to it for 3 turns or 2 full turns.
Paint Liquor, that's what a Leodon is. It's a pufferfish.
Yeah, pufferfish. A Leodon is a type of puffer. I looked all this up on Wikipedia. It has to be true. Right?
Well,
what do you mean? Wikipedia lies?
Yes.
Never.
Yes, it does.
You people are lying to me now.
Sway one from the true path on occasion.
Panic Bomb says, as someone trying to sell 3D prints on Etsy, which I bought commercial license for, it's disheartening to see people selling models there's no commercial license available for. Yeah. Yeah. When you have to pay for it. Well, so wait a minute. So are you saying that if they're selling... Oh, you're saying like if they've got something where they're breaking IP, like they're selling Spider-Man but don't have a commercial license for it, that would bum you out. It would definitely bum me out if I had paid for a commercial license from like Company X that does, I don't know, some type of monster models, and then somebody else creates something very similar, right, as a derivative, and sells it and didn't have to have that expense. Oh yeah, for sure. For sure. I think therein lies the biggest issue with IP infringement in totality, right? Is an age-old problem of the fact that you have some people that follow the rules, others that don't, who can survive equally in a commercial world, right? So that's why there's IP law, right? But it's like, you know, I mean, I dread to say criminal things because I don't, you know, by its very definition, technically, I guess, yes, it's illegal, right? But you know, it's like if they're not following the rules now, you know, just writing a law doesn't necessarily make people follow the rules. The people that hurts the most, I guess, are the places like Etsy and all these marketplaces that make their money based on a percentage of the sales of the people that sell on it. And then all those people get taken down for IP infringement. Now they don't make as much money.
Well, but that's
it's on them.
Yeah, that's the responsibility of
It's
the
on
platform
them.
to not support people who are doing illegal things.
It's on them. You're the guy that believed the internet when they said the Philly cheesesteak was good. Excuse me? Are you saying that Philly cheesesteaks aren't good? And I never asked the internet if Philly cheesesteaks were good. I know Philly cheesesteaks are good. I've been there, done that.
Ooh, I need to have one of those.
You don't got to ask the internet if a Philly cheesesteak is good. You just go buy one.
Where can I get a good one around here?
So you go right up the street to Camelback and 16th.
Okay.
Right? And you go to Corleone's.
16th Street.
16th Street in Camelback. And you go into Corleone's.
Okay.
They have that Philly/New York style pizza. Big, thinner crust, you know. Good pizza.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they have some of the best Philly cheesesteaks in town. And they will make them with Cheese Whiz, which is the way you do your Philly cheesesteaks.
Oh, absolutely.
So you say, I want an original. I want an original with whiz, right? And you can add mushrooms to it if you're that kind of guy, but I don't. I just go.
I like mushrooms.
Well, you can do that.
Yeah.
A little heresy involved there, but that's okay.
That's okay. I'm heretical. I have to do the heretical thing, which would be to add mushrooms to it.
The science has already been done.
I might go do this for dinner tonight because it's vaguely in the direction of Digiman's.
Today Wednesday?
Yeah.
Oh, it is Wednesday.
Yeah. Right? Because that's up around 16th.
No, that's Indian school and it's Indian school in 16th.
Right,
yeah.
but I just go up to Camelback and then come.
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you were going to do that, you want to leave here earlier than later.
Yeah, I would have to leave it like.
Yeah, because that's not a thing that you're gonna. Although at that time of the day, I don't know how busy or slow they would be. Hey, look, chat. You can stare at his palette that's off screen.
Yay! Wow, this is way closer to me than it usually is. I wonder if he...
Yeah, he probably moved the camera.
I mean, it's not a huge deal. What's up, chat? You like seeing the palette? I have a palette cam now, and it works. That's
a little much.
Hey,
a little much.
It's good for you.
A little much.
Christmas sushi. Hey, we were actually just talking about how you messed it up again.
Oh, I didn't say anything, Chris.
I'm just kidding.
I didn't say anything, Chris. You got to deal with this kid. He's getting a little uppity over here.
Yeah, is there a way that we can have both of our palette cams up at the same time?
No. Unfortunately, there is not. The
too many active windows.
It's too many active cameras muxed in on the mixer. We have a very expensive mixer, but it is made for broadcast television where you really wouldn't ever have a need for more than 4 cameras.
Yeah. I'm kidding, Chris.
No, he's not.
Okay, maybe not a little bit.
He's talking horrible things about you over here, Chris. I'm trying to Tell him not to, but it's hard.
When one speaks the truth.
Oh, man. Chris, are you hearing this? Hey, Chris, I just want you to know that while Baby J may be a representative of the business, he does not represent the business's ideas and thoughts of you. Necessarily.
Chris knows exactly how I feel.
Yeah,
I'll walk over right now and smack it down.
Yeah, you just told him.
Oh.
You just told him how you thought about him.
No.
Yeah, you did.
He knows better.
Chat saw it. Chat saw it happen.
You know what Chat doesn't get to see? Conversations held outside of this room.
Well, so have you noticed that there's that little pinhole in the wall in your office?
No. No, Jason, I have not, in fact.
We monitor all of our employees 24 hours a day. You signed that paper.
Disturbing. I have some rights here.
Psh. In the United States, you have what are called inalienable rights, which means...
And then alienable.
Which means that while you have them, you can sign them away. So that's why you got to pay attention to that fine print. Especially when dealing with Monument Hobbies.
Wow. You hear that, chat? Monument Hobbies does business. What on earth am I doing here?
Little does chat know, for every bottle of paint they've bought from us, we get one of their newborn children. I take that back. I don't want any of your newborn children.
Yeah, it turns out you gotta like take care of that thing.
Yeah, I'm not interested. I've done pretty good my whole life. Not having to do that stuff.
Kids are cool when they're not.
When you can leave them with aunt and uncle, or with mom and dad after being cool uncle. That's when kids are the best.
Yes, sir. I concur.
I can slap them around, get them all riled up, feed them sugar, and then leave.
Yeah, and then I used to be like, hey, your kid's being crazy. I'm leaving. I'm out.
I'm not saying I've ever done this, but I do this every day. I walk in the morning and smack my nephew around, get him all riled up, and then leave. Walk right out of my brother-in-law's office and let him deal with it.
That he goes.
I get really bummed out on the days where the kid's not here, though. I come in at like 7:30, and the first thing I do in the morning is I march right over into Carter's office, and I smack my nephew around. I do. He's always got his headphones on. He's always deep in concentration, doing playing some video game, watching some YouTube video. And I walk up and I tickle him and smack him around a little bit till he screams or wets his pants. And then I leave. I leave the disaster I've created for others to clean up. Start my day. When I don't get to do that, I feel like my day is lesser.
Did you get to do it this morning?
I didn't, because I got here right at the same time they did, so everybody was out in the parking lot. So my nephew was out in the parking lot, so I gave him a high five as I unlocked the door and came into the building, but I did not get to torture him this morning. And maybe you've hit something there, because maybe that's why my day's been a little off.
Yeah. You didn't get kid smack around time.
I will rectify this. I can't.
All right, folks. Feeling pretty good about where we're at with this leg right now. Dealing with it for a hot minute. Looking pretty good. We've got to soften out that line quite a bit.
Your brother did that when you were a kid? Darth Mullen, what's the benefit of having your own kids? You get to give them away for prizes?
You get to give them away for prizes. You got torture rights.
I feel like kids are always collateral, right? You can always be like, so what about my daughter?
Oh, Jason.
No, you can't do that. That's just in books and on TV.
You think Frostbite's gonna take the leg? I don't.
He'd walk into your room, make like he was gonna say something, rip a fart and leave.
Sounds like brotherly love.
I mean, that's just every day around here. Sometimes you just gotta walk into production and be like, hey guys, how's it going today? You really aren't there to care about how it's going.
Leave him a surprise.
Don't tell them that.
Oh, no, certainly not.
I don't want them to not let me into production.
Isn't that kind of your
Have you
decision?
met those guys back there?
Isn't that kind of your decision?
Have you met those guys?
I have.
Have you talked to them before?
I have. I'm pretty sure that's solidly your
Then
decision.
you know you can't control them.
Have to find the ways.
They're wise that Jen writes the paychecks. So they're like, you don't sign my paycheck. I think Ruben actually has said that a couple times. Ray Silver. Not afraid.
Well, now that I know, I might have to spin that.
No.
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 Jason, you're in charge of all things related to.
Yes.
And thus shall not be bothered with. Turns out I like being employed. Like a good plan.
We like having you employed.
Thank you. It is mutual.
This is also one of my favorite mechs, the Javelin.
I don't like its pose. That's the thing that bugs me.
Yeah, it's a little janky on the pose. This one's like ripped out of MechWarrior Online. There's not an actual mech or a miniature for it yet, I don't think. But it's a great light. He did skip arm day. Yes, he did. Arctic says that thing is hot garbage. I mean, no. A 696 with 7 medium lasers is hot garbage in what world?
Kind of looks like it's hip thrusting.
It's pimp walking. Got pimp strut. You hate the Javelin. It's literally one of the best light mechs. Literally. Such a good platform. Very strong. Very strong. It is not a speed tank. It will not save your bacon because of its speed, which is usually what I run lights for. But it pack such a freaking wallop that your enemy either has to pay attention to it and try to focus it down early before it gets into the rear guard, which is good for all your other mechs, or they don't, which is good for your game plan, because guess what? The Javelin just ends assault mechs when it gets behind them.
This is a light?
Yeah. 35 ton.
Fine.
So you're one of those guys that only plays really heavy stuff?
Alright, we're getting pretty close. Pretty close, chat.
I always like the idea of assault mechs more than I like playing them. That goes for the video games and everything. Heavies are where it's at for me, especially in the video games. Fast heavies, having some armor plus speed plus good guns. Basically the Timberwolf. Marauder 2 does the Lord's work. The Marauder 2 is a good mech. It is a good mech. But it still better hope it wins initiative against the Javelin. A lot of panels to highlight. Whose bright idea was this? Why couldn't we just do this dry brushing?
This was your great idea.
Why couldn't we just do this with dry brushing, chat? Why are you so mean to me?
Wait, Chad didn't do this.
Yeah, they did. No, Jason, you have to panel line every mech by hand. No more dry brushing. That's what they said. That's their words, not mine. It does make the mech look a ton better, though, so. That's why I'm doing it. Grumble, grumble. The Battletech turn-based game. It's just called Battletech. And it is very much more like playing the tabletop, although obviously with quite a bit of furious randomization that always seems to feel worse in video games than rolling dice. I don't know why. Yeah, hair it's just called Battletech. I jump into it every now and then. I played a couple scenarios the other night. Got frustrated because I got a scenario that was very winnable. It was like a 4 or 5 skull one. Very winnable. I dropped in kind of light to get more salvage and all that. And it did one of those rando, oh god, there's a new player on the field. Another enemy dropped in midway through. I had to keep a mech pilot alive. And a second enemy dropped in. And then the thing changed to now make it to the extraction point or fight. Either one. I was pretty banged up, so I couldn't fight with my 4 mechs against the 7 that were left, because I had only killed 1 of the enemy mechs so far. 3 of them were very badly damaged out of the original lance that I was fighting.
Nutrimenta, hey, how's it going?
But then 4 fresh mechs show up on the battlefield, and I was screwed. There was no way I could make it to the extraction zone because I had to go through the 4 new mechs to get to it. And I still had to keep the original guy alive through the whole thing, and he was pretty banged up. I went from feeling really good about myself, like, this is great, this salvage is going to be great. I was taking time to, like, leg mechs instead of coring them CT. Going to get some good salvage, and then no. That's not how the game lets you do it. The heck with you, Jason. You will get nothing. The video game encourages you to be ruthless. Yeah, it's just always tough, right? Because the opponent I was up against, like I said, I dropped light so that I could get more salvage, right? I have the Rogue Tech mod set to where it, I don't think it bases the difficult. I think the difficulty is on default. So it doesn't alter the difficulty based on what you drop with. Which means it stays at the same level regardless if you drop with all assaults or all light mechs. And I dropped with a bunch of mediums. And gave them the what for until I was doing great until the other guys came in. And the other guys weren't even allies of the first guys. They were just some random force that dropped in. They were shooting the other guys. They were shooting me. What kind of nonsense is this?
Wanted to win.
Rando pirates. Causing me problems.
Final glazes on this skin here. Take it back to where I want it. Touch a highlight.
Got caught with your pants down once and decided that was it. Yeah. I think I'll change that setting to alter difficulty based on drop tonnage. Nutra, is there any word on the testimonial commercials? Chris is editing them, I think. He told me today that he was having a good laugh with them, so I'm pretty sure he is in the midst of editing them. He may not have been working on them today, but the commercial is being made. We still have to shoot Jen's sections of it.
Excited to see that when that comes out. Launch.
Jordan doesn't realize he's going to be in it as patient 0.
Oh no. What have I done? I have been eaterized by the zombie.
I think we have to shoot it sometime in early May. Jen's parts, which will probably take a day. And then the final edits will be done. So I would think it'd be out by the end of May. But I don't want to put words in Masuchi's, Christmas Sushi's mouth.
Oh, hey, he's here. That can ask him themselves.
Chat, somebody needs to type in there. Hey, breaker of cameras.
Broken a camera yet?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know, maybe. I don't think so. He's really good with equipment. He knows where his proverbial bread is buttered as a filmmaker.
Hey, T. Schmidt, how's it going? Good afternoon indeed. It's Hump Day. For to be forgotten. Hump Day.
Hey, Chris, when you're done editing video, can you come finish these battle mechs for me? Chris and his group are heavy into Battletech right now. I'm trying to coax them to do a bunch of battle reports with me.
Do it. Do it. Do it. Do it. Can't.
You like my mechs too much so you can't come finish them for me? Bastards. Scaredy cat. All it is paint 5 million lines along the edges. It's easy mode.
Alright, I'm feeling pretty good about having this done on Friday.
Is that the day? Oh, I guess it is, right? I guess May is Monday.
Yeah.
Holy balls.
I know, this month has flown by. Like, vaguely disturbing, to be honest with you. Looking pretty close, though. Like, clean up spots and the sword and the gold. And then I'm it. Done. T-Schmidt got stuck in the painting zone, missed the stream alert. What were you painting?
I think this mech is legit me. Like when we play, if this mech ever hits a table, it means I'm there. This is my favorite mech.
It's just because of the cockpit. So good.
It's just because it has such clean lines. It's not, it's a like a fan art one, so it doesn't have as many panels and nonsense all over it. It's just a very clean. I feel like this is what the Raven should look like.
Yeah, it looks really good.
Like this is the better Raven.
Like everything.
No, I'm only picking the hot spots, right?
Yeah,
I'm not
yeah.
doing feet and stuff. So just like on that leg, just like the inner ankle.
By everything, I meant all of the models.
Oh yeah, I've done in today's stream. I've done 7.
Oof.
This is the tedium part, chat.
Yep.
The part we've already done,
But
and now we shall do again.
This part does make look a lot.
Well, this is the one that makes the model, right?
Yeah.
This is the one where the model comes back to life because the dry brushing and all the work that we've done looks good, but you really need to focus and be able to tie it all back together. And a good edge highlight brings all of the light and shadow back together. What little we've done, we haven't done a whole lot of contrast work on him or on any of these guys, but. Easy. I really like this guy.
What was that?
It's called an avatar. It's kind of like a better cataphract. You don't know what either of those are, but I'm a big fan of the cataphract.
Okay.
Even though I think it's a Capellan mech.
Wad Tomato. How can that be your favorite? It's not even called the Penetrator.
The Penetrator is literally only in this army because I didn't have a Marauder. I have ordered a Marauder. So the Penetrator maybe... The Penetrator's not a bad mech. Right? It's not my favorite looking mech. It's not horrible. But... yeah, it's really only in this one. Although, after we did the green on it yesterday, it's probably staying. Because it is a good-looking mech now. The green on the centerpiece, I think, really did it. It is kind of a better Thunderbolt. And I love the Thunderbolt. I was going to put 2 Thunderbolts in, but then when you read the spec sheets, you're like, but the Penetrator's a little better. So... I got a Cataphract. I don't remember which one I run. It might be the 4X. There's only like 2 Cataphract chassis open to me. I think it's the 1 and the 4X. I can't take a 3D. I can't take the jumpy one, I don't think. Cataphract is one of those that is a really good example of a mech that isn't as great in the video games, but really great on the table. There's a lot of those.
Deadbeat Artist. Hey, Jordan, do you have a plan for the candles yet? He cheated on the candles.
He did.
Deadbeat Artist, that is true. There are are no flames on these candles. They are in shadow. Cat says I blame him. Yeah, a couple of them were already broken off, and I was just like, what the heck? What the heck? Doesn't fit the vibe anyways. Get him out of here. So I chucked him. Tell Mally or Tim. Gonna hide this secret forever.
Good luck with that.
Nope. No, she just she invited Frostbite in, and she's all about it.
Better Cataphract isn't saying much, says the filthy clanner.
Yeah, Rat, I'll send a photo when I'm done with her tonight, and I'll post it in the Discord. Now that she's, like, pretty much done.
Like I said, the Cataphract, other than the jumpy Cataphract in the video, in MechWarrior, when I say the video game, I'm talking MechWarrior Online, the Cataphract didn't have much of a purpose other than the pop-tarting one. It was one of the most played mechs in the game for a while. I forget what they did for that. They nerfed PPC travel time or something like that. Is that what wound up happening and all that Pop-Tart jump shenanigans? For a while in MechWarrior Online, the only mechs that were really getting any competitive play were the heavies, or any mech basically that had a lot of jump jets and big ballistic and energy.
Thanks, Route.
Loadouts.
I've been working hard on it, but I'm definitely ready to move on to some other projects.
You done with her?
Just about.
You did, like, you came right out of a display painting of Horus.
Yep. Into another really...
Into a very intense, limited palette. That's always tough.
Oh, cool, T-Schmidt. I like that model.
Keep your mojo up through that.
Yeah, I think the next project I'm going to work on, I'm just going to blast out and get finished.
Buy some mechs.
Mechs. Thinking about doing my Lord of the Rings army.
Yeah, that would count too. Lord of the Rings is hard to do, like superb quality on all your normal dudes. Some of the characters are okay.
That one requires a lot of fixing though, because I got it from somebody else, and it's the Azog's Legion, and it's in pretty rough shape post move. So I gotta go.
Yeah,
I gotta go back and do a lot of cleaning up on them.
A lot of those models are doable, like all the trolls.
Yeah, and I have
even
bunch
the
of
ogres and stuff. A lot of those models are worth spending time on.
Oh, for sure.
Unfortunately, Azog and Bolg are not. They're like the worst models in that entire thing, are the characters that are supposed to be so awesome.
Yeah. The funny thing is, the Azog that I have is already painted, and it's missing the
claw
mace.
thing.
Yeah, the claw mace thing. Even when I got it, the guy was just like, "Missing. Sorry." You know,
it's a little fiddly bit that I don't know how it wouldn't be missing. It's like impossible to keep track of.
Yeah.
Mo, minimum range quirk? Oh, I thought it was a timing, because the whole thing with that is you would get something that had a ballistic and energy weapons on it. You could fire the Gauss and the PPC at the same travel times, so they'd hit at the same time. and do bad things. I thought they altered travel time on PPCs to compensate.
Thank you, Zambies.
Zambies?
I've been messing with it for a hot minute.
What's up, girl? What's up, girl? They're adjusting things regularly now that there's no players. But don't. Why you gotta be mean? I saw how just the was. I don't think it was that long ago. One of the big community naysayers that was always harping on players, big outspoken guy, got banned for cheating
In BattleTech?
in MechWarrior Online. Yeah,
Oh, what the heck?
a guy who was always just rude as hell to everybody in the game,
Good riddance.
and he got banned for aimbotting.
So funny. That's wild that he got banned just for aim.
Well, I mean, that's cheating. Right?
Well, no. That they didn't like address problems that they've been having with this individual in the past for other reasons.
It's hard to, if he's not actually, I guess, harassing, right?
Yeah.
Like, he was just a very negative force,
I guess it's kind of hard then.
you know? Although I do remember times where he's been around forever, like since the dawn of the game. Best time, right? There was a tourney last weekend. I fired it up, and the problem was, I loaded in, I looked at the pilot tree, right? And I was like, oh, that sucks. Oh, I got refunded all of my skill points. And now none of my skills are set for any of my mechs. And all of my mechs are like maxed. Well, not all of them, but a bunch of them are. And I don't like when I have to go back and spend all that time doing it mech by mech. So I was really bummed out about that. That causes a lot of time and effort. I couldn't just jump in and play, right? That sucked. And then what I was seeing was the event, right? They're doing all the events again. It seems like every time they have a drop in player base, nobody's really excited. They start throwing in all these events that make it so arcadey, it's not fun for me. Like, I like the more it's not really a simulator game, right? But I like it to feel more simulator and not, hey, this weekend there's everything generates 75% less heat, so it just becomes lasers for days.
Yeah. Let's just do lasers.
Yeah, we'll just boat lasers because it'll be great. I'm like, what? It's not fun at all. I mean, not that lasers are bad, and I do have a lot of laser boats, but
You've been working on today, Zambies?
here's your Hunchback 4P. One of my favorite mechs, by the way, not gonna lie. And the Hunchback 2C that does the same thing, except better. because of where the weapons are loaded on it, right? The Hunchback 2C is my favorite one, the new party back. Got 4 medium lasers on each side of the body, so you can peek one side of a building, blap, peek the other side of the building, also blap. Of course, it has like half the armor of a normal Hunchback, so kind of sucks, but hey, whatever. It's there for a good time, not a long time. Yes, exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I just don't like all the little events, like all the. I get it, but I just don't like it. Plus the fact that when you don't have enough players in a game, the matchmaker goes way crazy.
Oh, that I hate.
You can always tell when a game is end of life. Well, I mean, unfortunately, MechWarrior Online's been end of life for like 8 years.
Still trugging along.
It feels like, you know. I was at my heyday in that game in 2012, 13, somewhere in there, 14, when I loved it the most. That's 7, 8 years ago. It kind of felt dated even when it was in beta. Yeah, the engine, of course, has never really done very well. The graphics kind of hindered it. They did some updates on that to where, you know, they added in like trees that fall down and silly stuff that should have been there from the beginning. Environmental stuff that made it feel a little better. But yeah, it's always been a little rough around the edges. But, you know, I mean, it was never a. I don't feel like it was ever a huge budget game.
MechWarrior?
No, yeah, MechWarrior Online. But it definitely was bigger at the beginning. And of course, I'm a huge BattleTech fan, so I played it for years. We streamed it. It was part of my livelihood for years. I was part of the No Guts, No Galaxy team, streaming, and had a blast. Tons of good times from those years.
I didn't know you played it that much.
Oh, yeah. I was part of the official stream team. A lot of people that know me on the internet, even probably some of the people that hang out here still, found me first when we'd be playing that World of Tanks. There's a clip floating around on the internet of my antics in my Mad Dog used to run a Mad Dog all the damn time when the clan invasion stuff came out. In my Mad Dog 1v4 at the end of a match against a near full health Atlas and a bunch of chonked out enemies. And I 1v4'd them and won the game. That was a lot of fun. We used to do a deal to close out the stream every night where we would we did community drops all the time. So we would do, people in chat would get in queue and drop with us, and they'd either be with us or against us, the way the matchmaker worked.
Mm-hmm.
And we would end the night with a community drop where I would drop in my clan Nova, and all my Nova had on it was 12 flamers, maybe 13 flamers, I don't remember. 13 flamers. And I would just go bat nuts crazy during the match and run up to the enemy's face and just unleash 13 flamers on them until I shut down. Oh, I had machine guns. I think it was 12 flamers and 4 machine guns. That's all I had. So I would kind of waddle around in the back, soak some damage for my team, and then run up when a mech was looking roasty, right, when he'd been alphaing a bunch, and just hit him with all the flamers and machine guns I could. And it was so funny. Like, the stream got the biggest kick out of watching these players just go absolutely bonkers as their heat spiked, and they try to figure out what's going on. Because they thought they were in a good position, and here I'm going to fight the enemy, and here's this idiot in a Nova with nothing but flamers and machine guns wrecking your day, like tearing apart your whole plan. I never lasted very long. I think in all of the time we did that, like however many years of streaming that way and doing that at the end, I think I got maybe 3 kills total.
That's pretty funny.
And probably only because I came in and stole somebody else's kill anyway. Bad paint done worse. Yeah, the MechWarrior series stuff was really good. It was when it was Microsoft, right?
Good. Your Romulan ship is looking good.
It is kind of.
I've been rediscovering my love for Star Trek. I am enjoying.
Good. Like I said the other day, man, I truly believe that my favorite sci-fi has to always go back to Star Trek.
It was one of the things that my dad introduced me to very young was Star Trek.
Dad a nerd?
Sort of. Yeah, I would say nerd light.
Nerd light?
Yeah. Like, he is...
Got some nerdisms, but he's not fully committed?
Yeah. His nerddom is, like, planes and stuff. That's where he really...
Everybody nerds on something.
Yeah. Yep. And my dad is a dispatcher for an airline.
Oh, okay.
And if things were different when he were younger, he would be a pilot. But unfortunately, back in the day, you could not be a pilot if you were colorblind. My dad is colorblind.
Yep.
Now they don't really care. So, could technically be a pilot now. Lost a lot of opportunities to get the flight time that you would have to be.
About them hours on the stick.
Yeah. Which he has a ton of hours in flight sim. What he nerds out on. But it's not a 1-for-1 trip.
Nope.
You still have to have in-seat hours. And it's not cheap to get a pilot's license. Rent time in a plane. You rent the plane. That stuff's expensive. just taking the courses alone is expensive. Not cheap. But if there was something going up with a plane and you needed somebody to land it, and my dad was on the plane, he could take care of it.
He'd have you. You don't have to worry when Baby J Sr. is around. Next time you talk to him, you say, hey, guy at my office calls you Baby J Sr. I just want you to know, Dad.
I will let him know. He might be flying into town here in a couple of weeks.
He's not allowed in the office.
Okay. Wasn't what I was.
If you've told him that I call him Baby J Sr., he's not allowed here. You just see him walking in, he's like Mr. Universe. Like, so what's this I hear about Baby J Sr.? Oh, your kid, you know, he's got a wild imagination. He just makes crap up a lot.
Nickname, your son made up. Us.
I like that a lot. I think with the bright yellow green highlight on our green, that it winds up working really well.
Oh yeah, it looks fantastic.
Gives the green a little bit of a punch that pushes it more towards green, that yellow side. I was thinking faded green, but I think faded green would have taken a bunch of the life out of the models again. So I think this is the way.
Oh, you know what I'm gonna do? Is I'm gonna start watching the new whatchamacallit. Speaking of, this is the way.
Mandalorian?
Yeah, I'm gonna watch the new season. I'll weigh in on it. So divisive right now. Although I suspect that I will probably enjoy it.
Did you ever get to Virtual World where they had full immersive cockpits for MechWarrior? They've got them down in Houston. There's a couple of those places around still. Right? As a matter of fact, I just got an email from one of the groups I'm in that was taking annual donations for the maintenance of all of those things because they still keep them active. Paint Liquor says he's curious what you're going to think.
Yeah.
Oh, we just call him as Daddy J. Thank you for not referring to him as Daddy J, he says Dower. Hello, Daddy J. That's a little weird. It depends on how you say it, right? Are those different than the ones they bring to Gen Con? No, I think it's the same stuff. They have a traveling batch of them that are up in the Midwest. They've got some located in Houston. They got some in Canada, I think. I don't remember where all of them are. But no, it's the same ones. They're kind of roundish. Not quite egg-like, but... I assume they all have the same frame on them. I think they were all built like by the same company around the same time. Oh, they just found a bunch of the old pods in a storage unit? Oh my god. Like, how many did they make that they're finding them randomly in storage units? 12 assaults versus 12 mediums. Well, it looks like the matchmaker sucks. Well, if the 12 mediums were your high elo or whatever ranking, tier they use, that wouldn't be so bad. I think the last time I was playing, I wound up at like high tier 2 just about to go into tier 1 before I quit. And the games felt okay. Right? But the tier 3, tier 4 guys were hating it because there weren't enough community members for you to play against enough tier 3, tier 4 guys. So there was always a smattering of tier 2, tier 1 guys in every drop. And depending on who you got and what team they were on would really hurt. I've never sat in one of those pods. What game do they play? Do they play one of the old Mech Warriors, or do they have their own game, or do they do like Mech Warrior Online now? Have they updated them? I feel like they'd have to have updated it, right? Because nobody wants to play Mech Warrior anymore. I guess Mech Warrior 5. It's Mech Warrior Online, though. The single player version. Alright, gang, we're done. We're done. I'm done.
You done?
How you doing?
Doing good. Getting pretty close.
It would be kind of cool if it got a refresh for modern times. Those things are quite dated. Yeah, Pun, that's what I thought. I feel like they use the old more vectored graphics, right? You can put on your headset and fly a fighter jet right now in full 3D. That's a thing, Bad Paint. Right? I think my monitor's set up across 3 32-inch monitors at home and play a space sim, and it just feels so immersive. Even games like, I never remember what the damn game is called. It's a crazy, like, cel-shaded sci-fi sim survival. Oh, what's it called? Why do I not remember this? Very cartoony. There's not a lot of combat in it, like pirates occasionally.
Sci-fi?
Yeah, it's sci-fi. It's like one of the big 3. If you have No Man's Sky, that's what it is. No Man's Sky.
Oh, got it. Okay.
Yeah, No Man's Sky. Even No Man's Sky looks better than any of the MechWarrior games.
Yeah. It's nice and stylized though.
You don't know for sure, but after a quick Google the other day, they look like they're still playing the same game they were when they were at Dave & Buster's, and they haven't been there for like 2 days. Yeah, exactly. It's that old vector thing, right? Well, all right, gang. Jen's threw the link up there. Jen threw there's links in chat. Go check out the store in the Discord for all the goodies, and to join us over on our Discord server. We've talked about it. We're coming up at the end of the April challenge. That's what Baby J is over here doing. Looking fantastic. Looking great. Damn near done, man.
Yeah, we're very close.
Holy heck. Looks great.
Like these little metal bits.
Thanks for hanging with us, Jess. Good to see you.
Later, everyone.
Have a good one. Stick around for a raid. We're going to find out somebody else is working on some hobby stuff. Go show some love in the chat we wind up in. Remember, we do stream 5 days a week. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, like today, noon to 2.
Yep.
Tuesday, Thursday, 2 to 5. Right? A little bit later. So you can hang out with us for even longer. So we'll be back again tomorrow. The real Thursday, since yesterday was fake Thursday.
It was fake Thursday.
Yeah, yesterday was fake Thursday, but tomorrow is the real Thursday, and we'll be here at 2. So look forward to seeing you there. Have a wonderful evening. We will catch you on the flip side.
Goodbye. Goodbye. Good night, Gracie.
Good night, Gracie.